The key aim of the RomaPlaceAge Project is to better understand how people age, Roma communities age in particular, across urban environments in the UK.
It's really important to understand the health and well-being needs and requirements of older Roma people, because they tend to be marginalised within different health services, in different community settings, outside of the Roma community themselves.
We know a lot, or perhaps we know a limited amount, about the diverse Roma communities who are living in England and Scotland. But what we don't know very much about is their experiences of ageing. Most community projects are actually supporting younger people or fairly new migrants.
This project is very important. Why? Because firstly, it looks at access of services for the Roma community in the area of health, which are completely inexistent at the moment. And secondly, it looks at how these services could be improved so the Roma could age, in an equal manner.
Research usually is top-down, and in this project it's very horizontal. We're giving our grassroots community voices and individuals the space to direct the research, to help us collect the research, and to also show us what they're thinking. And a picture's worth 1,000 words.
So RomaPlaceAge, it's completely unique. It's designed with communities right from the beginning. Every aspect of the project involves very closely in partnership community organisations.
So if they're going to age well in place, then we need to really be thinking about how we can develop different interventions to help support that sense of good health and well-being.
We're focused on 3 case study sites in Luton, Peterborough and Govanhill in Glasgow, where there are a history and sort of well-established Roma populations in those communities.
So we're working with Luton Roma Trust because they have a special relationship with the local community of Roma.
The Roma in Luton are all migrants. Most of them come from Romania or Bulgaria or other countries in Central Eastern Europe. They are an isolated community. They need support along the way in everything they do. And if Luton Roma Trust wouldn't exist in the town, simply the Roma could not live their lives here. They are completely dependent on us, on our services, and we need to end that. We need to have services completely accessible for everyone in town, including the Roma.
So with this training, what we did was go into depth about what is a go-along interview or walk-in interview. What does it include? What does it mean? The practicalities. So we gave examples of what a go-along interview is. So we presented, and then in the second part of the training we went outside to practice a go-along interview so that people can feel and understand in reality what does it take to do a one.
If, like a researcher, you go in their place when they live, maybe they communicate in another way with us. Maybe they are free to tell us their story, their feelings, their emotion.
People are more relaxed when they speak outside because it's more natural, and it's make them feel more like in their element. So they can literally be more open to me as a co-researcher towards the questions, the questionnaire.
Knife crimes.
Knife crimes,
yeah.
and
so it's happening a lot in Roma community.
No,
any Roma community has been affected of that?
You can't say that's been affected, but it's putting scaring in a bit. It's scaring to go out and stuff like that. But yeah.
So they think this is one of the biggest challenge of Roma community?
Yeah, living in Luton.
Yeah?
Living in Luton, that's kind of scary because we're not used to that. Especially because most of us come from a village where we know each other. It's really uncommon for this to happen.
So it's not just us as researchers coming in and asking specific questions. We obviously have a few prompts. We might say, what do you like about living here? You know, can you tell us about how you feel about this location? Or where do you go? What services do you use? But it's very much controlled by community members. It allows them to showcase, to show people where they live, how they live, and to talk about the really important aspects for them. It might be how a neighbourhood's changed. It might be how they experience it, where they feel welcomed, where they feel excluded, and what they would like to see. So it's fundamentally important, this particular method of working, because it is bottom up from the community, and then we work with them in collaboration and community organisations to set about attempting to design better ways of doing which impact older Roma people in a meaningful way.
So another of the key charities that we work very closely with is Compass Charity in Peterborough. It has evolved significantly since it was first established into not just providing services and support for the local Roma, but also now it is a space where they can come and congregate, have coffee, socialize, meet other Roma.
I've lived in Peterborough for over 25 years, so I've seen the changes within the community, especially when it comes to Roma community, because we were one of the first families here. And so, you know, even though Peterborough is relatively, you know, quite advanced in terms of engagement with the Roma community, the provisions that we have got here, there are still a number of challenges that Roma over 40 are facing in Peterborough.
Well, in Peterborough we are a very, very big community, and when I say big, it's quite big, and they are reaching out for help, but now they actually don't know who to reach for help. So us doing this, reaching out to them, and actually we are actually offering them help. When they're doing these interviews, it's them talking about how they're feeling. They don't talk to a lot of people. They don't go to the city council, they don't go anywhere just to ask for any help. So it's for us to reach them, it actually means something, because I've had few families that are actually, praising and thanking for visiting them and talking to them and asking them, so at least they know they're actually going to be heard.
It is very important, I can see when I've seen a few of the reports and I've listened to a few of the interviews, how people are, easy to talk about things that are quite often very personal, very intimate, and quite often maybe not even easy to talk about. But those co-researchers, because they are from within the Roma community and they've got this rapport with the community, are able to capture all this information.
Předtím to bylo normální.
See, back then it was normal. They were safe. They used to go
It
out.
was normal, but
Yes.
7, 8
A do
years
práce jsem
was
chodila
very different.
pěšky. She used to walk to work. She wasn't scared. She used to walk by herself to work.
A nikdy jsem neměla
And
strach.
she was never scared.
A teďko bych si to nedovolila.
And now she wouldn't even dare to think about walking on her own.
So we are trying to act already now on those feedbacks. So this is what will see as a success. So after we get the report and the data, we will be able to act on it, and we will be able to provide those facilities and those activities and needs for Roma community over 40 years.
The third charity that work with very closely is Community Renewal Trust Roma in Govanhill in Glasgow, an organization which has a very good relationship with the local Roma community, which is quite diverse, which is Slovak and Czech Roma, but also Romanian Roma.
So in the context of Govanhill, as a place that has hosted waves of migration, it's very interesting for us to see how the Roma community is interacting with the place. They find a great level of comfort and familiarity in being here together with their families, and most of them prefer to maintain living here on a long-term basis, even if they're being offered opportunities to move further out into other neighborhoods of Glasgow.
Eu vă pot da un exemplu. Unde stau eu, este multă violență și aș dori treaba asta și să poată schimba și, într-un sens bun. Aș putea și arat, uitați, în locul ăsta să fac cele mai multe infracțiuni, faceți ceva, încercați și ne ajutați și ne fie bine și nu fim spăriați.
We're learning a lot about the networks of support that are contributing to their level of belonging, well-being, and in general how they relate to a sense of place here as a home that they have chosen for themselves and their own families.
You basically training Roma people to do interviews, and they have better connection with Roma people from Roma community. And if you just try to do this with somebody who is not from Roma community and also try to ask lots of questions of somebody they don't know, I think that will be difficult. We visit, for example, 2 back gardens. One of them was quite bad. Women complain about she can't spend time here. She's kind of scared to go even drop off the rubbish. There's also Govanhill Park, or we should go to Queen's Park as well. And it's just for people to gather together. They feel safe because there is lots of Roma people living here, or people from different communities, so it's mixed community. And most of the say that's why they feel quite safe, because it's not just people from majority living here.
I hope that this project will bring more understanding and maybe dispel some of the myths and misconceptions that the Roma community are faced with every day. And we hear this in a lot of our discussions in how the microaggressions or forms of discrimination are really truly impacting the quality of their lives here. And also their ability to feel like they belong and own the spaces in which they live.
So how can we support this community researcher model, not just in research, but also as part of organisations, whether that's housing, whether it's health, whether it's education and employment supports, so that they see the Roma voice as really important in challenging some of that stigma and the negative stories that we have about what the community are, and trying to make sure that they're seen as a more visible, recognised members of society within the communities that they're in. You know, there's a lot of misunderstanding out there, particularly around frontline service providers, about who the Roma community are and what they represent.
I think they're going to make a massive impact in the UK if people get to know more the Roma communities. And also, Roma communities should be more out there and not having a fear to say that they are Roma. They have to sort of recognize their identity and spoke it when they can, because, you know, are a lot of Roma people who are successful, talented, hardworking and educated, so they have to show to the world that they are human too, and they are equal, and they are a strong community of people, very strong.
This project has been wonderful in terms of both the team as it is, but also because of the fact that we have been given a voice, which unfortunately doesn't happen in many other projects that we had implemented in the past. We had our voice raised, we were listened to, we felt it is our project, and this, I think, is making the real difference to the success of this project.
We've got to wait and see, but I'm really very optimistic about this project because it's been met with so much interest, so that service providers really feel they understand and are working closely with their local Roma population, and older Roma people feel listened to and engaged.
Best scenario, I would say, in terms of outcomes, that the communities that we're working within will have a better understanding of Roma people in particular, and that those interactions and relationships between Roma people, particularly older Roma people, and the service providers, health, social care, community service providers, can work together better to improve health and well-being. I think one of the things that I would also like to see is that the policies of diversity inclusion and equality are properly thought about for very marginalised and older people, that ageism becomes a thing of the past.